All right, 7 o'clock, away we go. I'd like to call this meeting of the Londonderry Budget Committee to order at 7 p.m. And we'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's be seated. First, can I get a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Can I get a second from
Second.
Nicole? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. There's no one here for public comment. Can I get a motion to close?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. All right, so first let's approve the minutes from, we'll just do these one at a time. First, the February 27th minutes, I resent these. Were there did anyone have any changes?
No.
All right, then can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. And then for the April 17th minutes, did anyone notice anything that needs to be changed there? All right, then can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes in the affirmative.
Abstain.
Oh, one abstention. Abstention from Jason. All right, liaison report. So I attended their meeting in April. I brought forward what we had discussed at our
Talking about
first.
schools now.
Yes, schools. Yes. So for the schools, I brought forward what we had mentioned at our March meeting, which was asking them to revisit the kindergarten and see if they can come up with a plan that's both fiscally responsible and good for the town. Not the same plan that they had back a couple of years ago that was going to be over $40 million bond. So I brought that up to the school board. They're taking a look at it this month about potentially forming a new kindergarten committee to go over what to do.
Okay.
That was big ticket from there. Anything from you, Nicole?
Yeah, I have a few things if you want me
Yeah,
to.
go ahead. Go on.
In the last meeting, we talked about how they were looking at another property on Buttrick, possibly for the district offices. So that's off the table now because that was already under agreement. So that's just a follow-up on that one. There was, are you only talking about the April meeting right now?
You can cover both meetings if you want.
Okay. So they brought up, there were some concerns brought up by some of the people who were presenting around the adult education program. So they brought up that the state may not offer the same funding. So this was a concern just coming out of from the state out of Concord, basically. So even if we're not directly impacted, there was a note that it would stress the system and indirectly impact us because the programs across the state work together to offer the right services to people who need them. So that was just one concern. And then there was another concern brought up around possible government changes regarding free and reduced lunch, which, if it moved forward, would significantly impact student eligibility for the next fiscal year. And then there's one other concern that I noted that was brought up around dining services. So it was possible tariff impacts around the Buy American initiative, potentially not being able to offer the same things, having to potentially increase prices for lunch once they understand how those changes will impact the cost. And then in the most recent meeting, there was a third quarter financial report. And without getting into the granular details, otherwise we will be here for a long time, the headline was that everything was on track and in good shape. From a budgeting standpoint, they were projecting $900,000 to $1 million left in the general fund, potentially by the end of the fiscal year. So why is that? Well, they noted that the revenue is above expectation. So most of that is from Medicaid reimbursements, bank interest, and then they're also running low on expenditures. So a savings around 700 to 950K. And that's due to staff turnover, unfilled roles, retirement, and they have a decrease in workers' comp submissions. Some of the challenges they noticed, they noted in the, and I keep saying they because I can't remember the woman's name who presented this. If anybody knows.
Maybe it's Amity?
Oh, was that who it was? Thank you. Okay.
Probably.
They are running over in out of district placements funds. They're still having a hard time finding special education assistants, which is creating an overspend on contracting. The vocational tuition, they're over by 200K right now. The reason for that is apparently the state used to reimburse 75%, but for 2025 they've only reimbursed 44%. So they noted that they have to look at how to better plan for this in the future. And IT is over by about 30K. But back to the summary, at the end of the day, the note was the savings will still outweigh the places where they're over.
Okay, good.
I don't know if you have anything to
No,
add.
that covered it all. But was there something that you were gonna say?
No.
Okay. Alright, moving on to town council, Jason.
I have nothing.
Alright, Patrick did a little write-up. Let's see here. If there's
He's thorough.
Good for him.
Great.
Alright, so that's
How can you read that?
I just
That's so tiny.
That's why I bring this, because I can.
let's see anything so from the 35 Gilchrist Road sale, $1.9 million proceeds will be counted as revenue for the town and may lapse into the unallocated funds balance. Oh, lost my place. At the end of the year, the council will determine whether to use this amount for tax relief or other purposes, or the money could be appropriated by warrant article 2026.
How much was that?
$1.9 million.
Oh wow.
And then, so there's going to be a reduction in the sewer access fee for commercial industrial users from $16.50 a gallon to $12.24 a gallon. Those are the big ones. And his, I'll send. Did he send that to all of us?
No, I think you
Okay.
only sent it to you.
All right. So I'll forward this to you, and if you just want to add this as an addendum to the minutes.
Perfect.
All right. Then moving on, town hall. Kate.
Okay. So I met with Justin earlier this week, and we talked a little bit about revenues and budgets. Revenues we're doing really, really good on. We are over the, so we should be about 83% budgeted. Basically, if wherever we forecasted, we should be 83%. We're above 83% on business licenses and fees, motor vehicle permits, building permits, dog licenses, reclamation fees, marriage ceremonies, meals and room tax, income from other departments, and interest from other investments. Now, the income from other departments includes, other state grants. We got the $7.7 million for the water. So that's in there. And then the payment in lieu of taxes, it looks like we're kind of behind schedule on that, but we're owed about $772K for the airport still. New Balance pays theirs in January. The airport pays theirs June-ish. So we've got the New Balance, but we do not have the airport just yet. In terms of budget and spending, in terms of as opposed to revenue, town council is slightly over budget. Legal expenses are a bunch over budget, but that's because we had the 5 union contracts this year. And so we're about 100K over budget there. And then general government, all the other departments are basically right where they should be or under. So that's good. And then that's it. Okay.
Okay.
On to DPW, Sarah.
Now that I gave you crap, I'm gonna do this too. It just looked really tiny. Let's see. Road work for DPW is pretty smooth sailing. The streets have been trimmed, shimmed, or milled, and overlaid, and in the final stages of wrapping up gravel and shoulder work. So we're doing all that. Give me a bunch of figures. I'm not gonna bother you guys with that. Let's see. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Well, she looks that up. I should mention that the there's going to be a meet the new town manager on May 27th.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Okay, I got something.
Good.
Okay. We received a bid for our large 6-wheeler and are in the process of formalizing the award at the cost of $234,000 after the trade-in.
Good.
Nice.
So that's good. And they're interviewing candidates for truck driver and laborer.
Mm.
So, and I'm not going to talk about that. Might be privy.
Mm-hmm.
He says, other than that, we are busier than ever with all the rain and flooding and washouts, but we're keeping up and getting our paving schedule back under control.
Good.
So, thanks for tolerating that.
And I forget if at the last meeting, did we discuss a potential date for the tour of the DPW facility?
I don't recall. It would be in the minutes, I hope, right?
Yes, it would be, yeah. Do we want to see you get one for the fall?
I think that's what we were discussing.
Yeah, those would we discussed that in the March minutes.
Yeah.
So I can look that up real quick
Alright.
because that's all on the website. The new website.
That is correct.
Well then, we can discuss at our next meeting too.
We got time.
Yes. For the police department from Chief Kim, so he's down 4 officers with the potential of filling 2 of those slots. They're shooting for July, and as the PD's ending near the end of the fiscal season, there's no shortage or surprises that they foresee. And he also discussed that September would be the best time for him to come in and talk to us.
Okay.
And Ryan, Chief Ryan, did he say that September or October, which one of those months was going to work best for him?
I know we were gonna do it closer to budget season, so I
Yeah.
can.
Because we could double up Chief, Police and Fire one of those days, and then for another meeting potentially do town, get Justin and Amity in
Okay.
here. We'll just do a budget oriented one and then a what do you call it, first responder oriented meeting.
Yeah. Which one?
Let's see if he can do September.
September.
And that's all I have for the police department. And so I'll turn it over to you, Ryan, for fire.
So an official liaison report. I haven't spoken to the chief, but just looking at the numbers, they are outpacing budget. The good news is they're well under on overtime
Mm-hmm.
That's
after all the shenanigans. Keeping a close eye on it. I'm still convinced that we over budgeted for FY26. So I'm going to be keeping tabs on that. The one area, as always with the fire, is repairs. Repairs are crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but overall they're under budget.
all right.
Okay.
That's good. All right, CIP, Sarah.
That's what I am prepared for because there's nothing.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yes.
All right, planning board, Ryan and Kate. Which one?
I don't have anything this
I don't have
week.
anything.
I'll
All
get,
right,
I'll
that's
get us caught up next month.
all right. That's easy then. The library from Patrick. I forgot that we had given him some homework. So let's pull up his. If it'll let me view the doc. No, it won't let me. Oh, it was just right there. Son of a gun. There we go. From the Leech Library, so fiscal budget items, Trustees approved the expenditure of carpet cleaning for $2,778. They're purchasing 2 printers for $1,100. Booted me out again, son of a gun.
I'm gonna see him do this for his face with the authenticator.
Yes.
The library does not have an equipment line item this year, so this expense will come from the bottom line. Trustees approved acceptance of unanticipated donations and gifts. Circulation librarian will be hired. A part-time library technical role will be posted. And a children's librarian role will be posted on July 21st with the goal of hiring in mid-September. Job description will be reviewed at their June meeting. And the trustees approved expenditure from the trustee fund for $100. And we have the funding sources that we, or I guess that I asked for him to break down, going back to FY22. So the bulk of it came from local, about $1.3 million from local taxes. Federal, about $12,000 came from the ARPA. Then others, $14,000, and other funding came from library income, private donations, grants, and insurance claims. FY23, about $1.3 million came from local taxes, and then $16,000 from the library income, private donations, and grants. For FY24, $1.4 million came from local taxes, and then nothing from state, nothing from federal. About $52,000 from other sources. Again, that library income, etc., etc. Fiscal year 25, about $1.5 million from local taxes, and since this year isn't complete, he doesn't have a total for the breakdown of where other monies are coming from. And for dues and subscriptions, so we discussed that the expenditures were 114% of the budget. And so he asked, what was the amount budgeted, what was the amount spent, and if spend is higher than budget, what caused that? So the amount budgeted was about $30,000. Since you got yours out, I'll give you the exact number. $30,628. The amount that was spent was $35,839. And the cause was G-Milks and increase in museum passes costs. The director also noted that 3 more museum passes to pay for, which will increase the cost. As of this updated information, this line item is at 117% of what was budgeted for them. And let's see, we asked for the breakdown because were we discussing it, or was there, I believe there might have been talks of reduction in federal and state funding for the library. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, so it's not a direct, because they don't directly contribute to the library. What happens is the library is part of a state library organization that allows for like interlibrary loans and ebooks and subscriptions and that sort of stuff. So it's not direct, like money directly to the library. It means that some of the services will be cut because we are allowed to basically get into them because we're part of this other system, essentially.
ALA, or is that something different?
I don't remember which one. There's a bunch of different library associations, but because of the lack of funding potentially going either from the state library association or another type of association, they may be losing some of their access to certain things. So like Libby and Overdrive and some of the Hoopla, so a lot of more like the ebook and digital offerings and stuff like that. A lot of that is funded by outside sources that the library has access to, so some of that stuff might be going away.
All right. I guess from a fiscal standpoint, from the contributions to the library, funding wise, the majority of it, the great majority of it is coming from the taxpayer. A small percentage of that in the past years is coming from the other funding, so nothing directly from the state, like you said, the services from the state. I'd be curious to see, maybe as we get closer to budget season, asking them to prepare that other column from the library income, private donation grants, and insurance claims. Though we usually do get that breakdown in the budget
Yeah.
book, so we'll be able to see it there. For example, FY24, $1.4 million came from local taxes, and only $52,000 came from other sources. No other monies came from other sources.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens come budget season
Yep.
with them.
Yep.
So that's it for liaison reports. Because we have it on here, can I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. Is there anything that any of you would like to discuss or bring up, or maybe for next meeting?
No.
All right.
Do we have a topic for next meeting? Besides-
Next meeting, so I'm going to get in contact with Kirsten to see about getting the new town manager here.
Okay.
And try and get what he's thinking about for the upcoming budget season. And, you know, we can ask away and we can get to
Sure.
know him and start
Yep.
a working relationship with him.
And that would be, I'm looking at a calendar.
Yes, that'd be June 19th.
Yes. And the town hall is not closed on Juneteenth, which we had just talked about at the March meeting, but they're not closed, they are still open. So it would be perfectly fine to have a meeting on that day.
All right, then I'll just have to double check about making sure that the meeting gets recorded.
Okay.
Because I don't know how they can work with the getting it recorded, but I'll just check with Kirsten.
It is recorded, it's just not live. So what it is it's recorded, and then the whatever the local news access will take the recording and then snip basically the ends, because it's been recording since we
Yeah.
walked through this room essentially, and they'll stop it once we close the meeting essentially. So
Do we really want to have a meeting on a federal holiday?
Do we want to push it a week?
Yeah. I mean,
Alright, and so the following week would be,
the 26th.
26th.
okay, so are you guys okay with that, pushing it to June 26th?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I don't believe I have an issue with that.
Okay, and I don't have an issue with that either, so let's make a note of that. June 26th will be the next meeting, and I'll let Kirsten know. Alright,
And then just for planning purposes, no July meeting.
No July meeting.
I don't see a reason to have a July
Same.
meeting.
yeah.
So then the next following that will be the school tours in August, and our next actual meeting following the June meeting will be September
18th.
Time's flying by.
Yeah.
Oh no! And then very shortly after that, we'll be in budget season again.
Yeah.
Quick! If we close out in the next 30 seconds, we can beat Chad's time.
Yeah, so can I have a motion to close public
So
comment?
move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The chair votes in the affirmative. No other business? We're good?
None.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes in the affirmative. Alright.
23 minutes.